and may Allah give him shifa and recuperate. Please stand by for that bit, inshallah, in the future programs. But nevertheless, we have a very packed program today, and I have two guests here who doesn't need more introduction, and all the communities here in St. Matthew and known very well. These two people will walk us through today's program, and it's about how our people who are very vulnerable in the community that we don't often hear about it, how it is they can help, and how they help, and how you and I can help after we listen to their programs. One of the things that I am talking about today, and is specifically targeting, is the supporting the most vulnerable people in our society, empowering, and they are already here. We talk about a lot of asylum seekers. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Judy Oxley and Abdikaif Farah. Both are from Sokoba. I will ask first Abdikaif. Abdikaif, walk us through about Sokoba as organization, when it's been established so far, what you achieved, just to introduce our listeners about Sokoba.
First of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, Ramadan Mubarak to all listeners, and thank you, Hashim, for having us in your studio. So, Sokoba really stands for Somali Community Parents Association, and it was really established as in
2 decades ago. That's what I...
Yeah, it was established nearly 2005 as an unincorporated association group of like-minded Somali intellectuals and younger people. And since 2006, it has been operating support to the community at 19 Brunswick Street in St. Matthews until today in different capacities. And it stands for justice, fairnesses for Somalis and East Africans to enable them to integrate into the host community.
One of the things that I am aware as a user of your services as well is that especially the people who have children, disabled children, you are also helping them. So what I'm trying to catch is the 360 degree in few words, the work that you're doing. Just walk us through that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hashim. Actually, we do holistic work. We work with families, younger people, everybody really. And I'm glad today we have Judy Oxley here with us, who's also special needs specialist who helps through her volunteering capacity so many families and children and younger people. And I think she will be able to talk about the number of people and the needs as she has that expertise and role. But we do support families and children with different needs.
Thank you. Judy. Judy is a dedicated volunteer. And when I say volunteer, in a very sense of the word, I haven't seen someone so much involved, giving their own money to the cause to help people, not only their time. Her other half is also involved. So I really like to explain how selfless is this person. Welcome, Judy. Judy is an ESOL teacher and who brings wealth of experience. She served as a special needs teacher in mainstream, now retired, but not retired. She works more than anybody else I know. Welcome, Judy. What Abdi said about the Sokoba in general, I would like you to continue into that theme in generality, the ways that you help people in need.
Sakopa is a place where, I think you said to me a long time ago, where people go when they're in real need. So they've probably knocked on the doors of lots of places before they've actually found Sakopa, maybe. They come from across the county. They are people mainly from East Africa, marginalised, perhaps new to the country. They are sometimes in desperate need. I'm just thinking of one picture that I have of a lady who had very little English. She'd been in Leicester only a few weeks. Turned out she had been in a very difficult relationship and had had to move quickly away with her very young son. And she came to the office at a time when I was there on my own briefly, and I sat with her, and the trauma was evident on her face, and she had little or no ability to even look at me in the face. Obviously, I was a white person. She had thought she'd come to somewhere where she would be received by her own. The relief when somebody else appeared and she could talk to them in her own language. It took 3 or 4 visits for her finally to reveal what was the issue for her. And through the kind and patient understanding and listening of staff, we began to know her story, and she was able to be supported by another organisation who helped her out of her difficult situation. We walked along with her then through helping her get into language support, to apply for help for her child, and to get into housing. So there was someone who was completely isolated in her trauma, dependent on one family member who couldn't provide for her, who we helped step by step. It's about 2.5 years on now. I think you'll remember the case. Yeah. And I see her walking along. She's pushing her child, who's now nearly into school. She's got a part-time job. She's at Leicester College. She's learning English. And her whole demeanour, the way she holds her body, shows us that she's a different person now. She's able to embrace the future with hope, whereas before she was a prisoner of her circumstances.
Really, it's one of those things that when you hear, and we are in the month of Ramadan, that in this day and age, people next to our doors, neighbors, are suffering in such way that we're not aware of it. That's really touched a button with me, and I'm sure the listeners and people who are, because we're blessed as we are, but if we don't look above our shoulder, if we don't inquire, we can, because our religion commands us to be mindful of the needy. And the needy are here.
They are.
Because I know that many charities nowadays are looking into going abroad and trying to help. Yes, that's fine too. But the charity begins home. I will go back to Abdikaif. Abdikaif, that stories, factual things that happened to that lady are multiple in many places. If people who are listening today now want to help, or just to come to your office as volunteers, or any way, how could they do it? And that question is both of you. First, Abdikaif.
I think we have a website, and on the website you can go on there and register your self-interest to volunteer, and that's the starting point, and then we will receive the application and come back to you. So that's the starting point. Or people can visit us while we are open.
And the address, can you give us quickly?
Yeah, it is www.sokoba.org.uk.
And I'll ask if the producers can help us to put somewhere. Can you repeat again so that they can capture?
It is www.sokoba.org.uk.
SOCOPA
Yeah.
.com.
.org.uk.
.org.uk. And physical address in here in Leicester, because I know many people like to move and go visit
19 Brunswick Street, Samatius.
LE2?
LE1.
LE1, sorry.
Yeah, 2LB, yeah.
2LB.
So I always say it's below Cuba Mosque. That makes
Yeah.
it easy for everyone.
Yeah.
Below Cuba Mosque,
Quba
next
Mosque,
to
yeah.
the Sudanese Association place,
Yeah,
and you just kind
That
of have
big
to look
building,
for the sign.
yes, that building. This side is Madras Road, and the other side is Brunswick.
Brunswick, yeah.
Brunswick.
Opposite Bayan Daycare as well. There.
What I'm getting is that
So we are in the heart of the community.
in the community, the resources are very short, and everybody is giving what they can, and without resources, the world cannot go on. So, if I was listening today, and I have this mindful after you told us that story about that lady and many others that will come, and I feel compelled. How can I help the cause? Because if I don't have time and I'm full-time work, just little resource I have, how can I can get involved and pay as much as I can and donate in that sense?
I think we have, neighborly website. Registered neighborly website, and we have a page there, which we ask people to donate. We also local giving page we have, and that is on localgiving.org page, and people can go there and support if they really want to do it.
I think one of the things is we are so busy with dealing with the clients that we don't spend a lot of time looking at how to pursue donations, and that perhaps is something that we need to look at in the future. But I would like to see where we kind of say sponsor a worker if from the proceeds of something like a Ramadan giving campaign. I don't know whether this is something to think of for next year, but maybe we could have sponsor a worker. If we could supply another worker, somebody who had the conviction and commitment to work alongside us and develop a particular area of expertise. We've got people that specialise in helping with housing, people with immigration problems, people with education issues, and then there's all the financial and digital barriers as well that we're trying to break down. So we need somebody who is willing to work against the odds and be prepared, as you said, to cope with the trauma and the commitment. We have to shut our doors an hour before the office closes because we are so full of people who are seeking help. We try and deal with everybody who is there on a certain day until that time. But sometimes we have to defer, sometimes we have to book appointments and do special long-term committed interviews and meetings with an individual client. The demand is there, and workers is probably where we are most needing the support.
I know I got you off guard because I know that this month is the month of reflection, the month of giving, and the month of trying to be better person, better human being. Think of others. Not the fact that we're not without food from sunset to sunrise to sunset. It gives us that reflection and putting ourselves in someone who doesn't have that luxury to have a food on their table. And that gives us the clarity. And Allah commands us to think through this ponder over. And the reason I ask this question, and my questions are never scripted. Is to I know that I get you, and you're more on hands people. For example, if someone lawyer or who has firm in here or a small business, as you said, and they come and want to sponsor a post for a year or 6 months or whatever, that will be helpful, as you say. But also, I know that you run a small donated food bank for the people. What I wanted is to expand that. What's because some people might have effectively something to give rather than money.
Yeah, it's actually in the food bank. At the minute, we are getting food from Aldi stores and Lidl at least 3 times a week, and bringing into our center, and immediately it finishes as we bring. People are waiting.
I know.
So we can maybe in the future we might need is to make it more space, which we don't have at the moment, because we use open space in the cafeteria, and we need also volunteers who can do picking up the food and distributing, committed people to build it, because the need is there, and it helps so many people who actually have not much to buy food.
Thank you very much. Let me remind our listeners who might join us just now. This is Ramadan Radio, Ramadan.com, and this radio is really, we are live on FM 87.7. We are on live on DAB 9P, and also we are live on all the social media. I like to repeat. You said Aldi and Lidl.
Yeah, Lidl stores.
You see, and I know that we Muslims have a lot of stores in this city and beyond. And if Lidl and Aldi, I like to repeat their name because they deserve to be named in this program, because they are helping people who need our help. What about the businesses that are listening to today now to us? Please donate as much as you can, and also volunteer. I know that Leicester Law Society helps people, and sometimes they give a free pro bono. And if you are a lawyer out there, if you have any services that this Sokopa community-based organization needs, visit them. The other thing that I would like to explore more is that one of the things that I say, and this is for Judy, from basic needs like food, clothing, and more complex healthcare, language, they all come to you. So how do you prioritize? Because if I can see someone new, someone helpless, someone, because we think most of the time that and I'm sorry to say that the mainstream media like to focus on the criminals. Criminals are everywhere. Some asylum seekers did that, this, that. But majority of these people are human like you and me. So just walk us through how you prioritize all this, the person coming through and have all these needs, and you cannot have all these resources to help.
Yeah, that's a big question. I think you probably realise that Leicester is a dispersal centre for incoming asylum seekers. So we are finding that probably within 4 or 5 days of arriving on a small boat across the English Channel, people are ending up in Sokopa. They've been housed either at High Cross House as a male or at a Dagio Hotel as a female. When we see them 4 or 5 days after they've landed from the boats, we are aware of their trauma. It's almost tangible. We see it written on their faces. sometimes on scars in their bodies, but there is an awareness of just how their world is completely upside down, how they're living on their nerves, would you say? How they are exhausted. Most of them express a huge gratitude for the marine rescue that they've had from the British in the Channel waters and the way that they're welcomed into this country. Yes, they recognise that they have to go through certain processes, but nevertheless, at that point, they are overwhelmed by being here on English soil, something they've been working for a long time. And some of them have quite, this is hard to say, some of them have quite unrealistic expectations of what may happen. Others are just grateful to be safe and feel safe, particularly the women, I'd say, and the men too. So at that point, when they arrive, their needs can vary. Often the thing that they're longing for, and it's easy for us to give because we're a digital, what's it called, a digital centre?
Digital centre, online centre, all of them.
So we have arrangements with
Good Thing Foundation,
a foundation that sponsors us because we're a net giver to these people. So they can have a certain amount of data free on SIM cards, and that enables them to get in touch with family members. It enables them to make connections quite quickly. They'll have been trained or been given a Gmail account for their official things and a telephone number, but they won't have the capacity to use those. Perhaps they may need help with training to use their phone and how to manage their phone. That seems a strange thing to say, is sometimes the first thing. But that's an immediate felt need to be in touch with somebody to say, this is where I am and I'm safe now. But alongside that, there becomes a whole list of things that we go through with them as they first arrive. They need to lodge their files, they need to get in contact with a lawyer. They need, and that is very difficult.
And we have this multilingual team, the advantage, so we are able to speak Arabic, Somali, Urdu,
Amharic.
English, Amharic, Tigranya. So we got a wealth of multilingual.
Hindi, Farsi.
Farsi, and there's
so
French with Algerians,
So that's when they come as first point of contact in our center, then we identify other needs. And those who manage to stay here longer, we actually encourage them to join immediately English class on Friday. And on Wednesday, there's additional English that Judy runs. And we recommend them, and a lot of them really benefited for that whilst they're waiting the cases they start. And that gives them connecting to new people, learning the language, building their confidence, and that is a really big...
But there's so much bureaucracy that they have to face. They have to register for a doctor. Then it's learning how to make these connections. They're told they receive a lot of digital information. How do they process these long, wordy, informative emails that come to them on a phone in a language they don't understand? They're then using Google Translate to use it. They may misunderstand something. It may not translate very well. They need to talk to somebody who understands.
Or they may not have the skills and understanding to use the technology.
Absolutely.
So in many cases, a lot of them actually need, support.
So sometimes they've got somebody from their own language group in the hotel, sometimes not. Or we can help them make connections with people who are a little bit further down the road. But even when you've been here for quite a long time, the language barrier is still there. I'm thinking about a lady who's been here for 2 years. Her English is really quite good. But when there are official letters coming in, she wants to check that her answer is appropriate and good. She'd rather not deal on a phone call directly with agencies that are asking questions and so on. Sorry, I'm coming away from the refugees, the asylum seekers. So an asylum seeker does not have the right to volunteer or get to English classes or work or anything as they first arrive. So they've got loads of time in between all the different appointments they have, the interviews, the need to see different people along the way with all sorts of agencies, job centres, not quite job centres yet, sorry, that's when they're refugees.
That's one.
So they
have to register GP, find dental, possibly English class.
Yes.
And a lawyer.
And then they need to be going, I don't know whether it's every 2 weeks or every week to show that they are there at that address and they have to be checked all the time.
Yes.
Let me remind our listeners who just joined us. Today we're talking about supporting the most vulnerable people in our society and how Sokopa empowers these people who are marginalized in our doorsteps. And the reason we pick up this program is that many people think that asylum seekers, as the mainstream media brings in about people who just pay a lot of money to come to United Kingdom and all that. But there are flip side of it. Some of them are being trafficked. Some people are being tricked that they're going to be okay and all that. And once you start that journey, you are not free. You depend on the mercy of the people who are trafficking you. Yes, I understand many people will say why they couldn't stay their homes. That's another question and for another program. But this majority of these people are really vulnerable. They really are not criminal, as we're saying. And this is something that I find out. It is the most vulnerable people in our society. We are in Radio Ramadan and we are live FM 87.7, DAB 9B and all the social media. And one of the things that struck me is that let's do an happy way now. When I pass your class with many different nationalities who are trying themselves to talk to each other in little English, they have you, yourself, and other teachers, that is, to me, is happy thing. These people who are isolated in wherever they are, hotels or wherever, unseen people, that's their happy hour when they are in there, in trying to bring out the good thing about them and try to belong. Just talk us through about that bit, because we've been very bonding onto.
Yeah, it's fundamental, isn't it, that English is important as you come to make your home in England. If you don't have English, you are limiting your chances of employment, of integration, of feeling at home, of feeling relaxed, I'd even say, in this country. How do you negotiate things without English? So, yes, we do offer refugees, even from their very first arrival, the opportunity to learn English. And if they've got a high level of English, we try and sort of speed them into higher level English classes that there are available across the city. So I've got connections now with City of Sanctuary, with people at the University of Leicester who give extra classes for refugees and so on. But often for women, they, from certain communities and people who perhaps have been illiterate in their own society, it is very hard to access these other places, and coming to somewhere they recognise, being in the building of the Cuba Mosque, in a classroom where there are other people from their own ethnic background or area, is an easy place to come to. Recently, we've got a class where we have all comers. So we've got 3 or 4 teachers now on a Friday afternoon. It's 2 p.m. Friday afternoon, Cuba Mosque. Just tell anybody they can come. We tend to have between 28 and 35 people each week. It's a very difficult demographic to work with, supposedly people say, because you've got the movement, you've got people who maybe moved on over to 6 weeks. So we have people who are with us for only 6 weeks. During those 6 weeks, we show them how to work at home in the hotel, or if they're in an HMO, House of Multiple Occupancy, some people are placed in those. And they've got they can purchase a subsidised textbook that we have, which they can use alongside an app on their phone where they can practice at home and then build on those lessons in the class on a Friday. We also on Friday have a businessman that comes in and does mock interviews and one-on-one conversation with those who are more able. We've got levels of students who are helping those who are just arriving as well. So we're running a sort of multi-level classroom on a Friday and feeding then into other programmes across the city. So Open Hands on the other side of St Matthew's, they run 7 classes at discrete levels, which we haven't got the manpower to do. And they are in an excellent place with 2 lessons a week to offer something else. There are conversation classes that we can recommend people to go to. So we assess people as they arrive. We welcome them to our catch-all class, and they find their place if they want to in that. And then we signpost them and help them access other courses. I help them personally with the application, sometimes taking them to interviews. It depends on the capability of people, really.
Or go with them to the college or Open Hand, which is our really partner. We work. It's not only English classes, but we also a referral for clothing, food, Open Hand charity.
Open Hand charity.
And also we work with Sakat, Lastasia Sakat Foundation.
Sakat Foundation, thank you very much.
Also help is a lot of financially destitute people to get at least some money they can buy most needed essential items that they need. So we brought them into our center and they are delivering. And with the immigration, we work also in the Europeans, where we support people on Fridays, EU settlement, people who have EU immigration issues.
And it's very good success. Today I'm talking about this last bit, the success. I know that young people who you supported them, their extra classes when they were young and in the schools are now coming to volunteer for you. That's success story. When you taught as a child for them in Sokopa, and now that they have time or 1 year gap from university or whatever time they can give, coming to you as volunteers. I saw you the other day interviewing a young lady. All that is also a success story, because when you are helped, giving back to the community is the way these youngsters are thinking. Talk me through about those young, brilliant...
We really take on some younger people actually at the secondary school, the placement, even though we have a limited capacity. If it is 1 week, then those younger people, we give them opportunity to see what community work is, meet new people, but also do some survey. We give them some tasks so they can talk to people and do some tangible, so they can collect a survey, for example, on how people feeling about the service, their opinion on how they felt they supported, and that opportunity. So younger people really enjoy, and they really also live with their happiness when they go back to school. So, and we want to call more younger people to come back. Those younger people who are now working, professionals, a lot of them actually we supported in the past with money programs, and we would like them to come back and continue the organization as we are developing our strategy now to make sustainable and
One of the areas that they really could be effective in is directing our social media platforms. I'm sure.
Indeed, the young people,
and doing the things that the workers on the ground who are doing the client-facing work just
don't have
the
time.
capacity. Yeah. So that data collection and interviewing is very helpful for us. That is done by our interns, and I think we'd welcome, say, students who aren't working during the summer to perhaps come and be part of programs that we run in the summer. That kind of thing would be excellent if people wanted a way to give back to their community and wanted to do something that was Leicester based. You know, that would be an effective way of helping.
If you can give again the website of the organization where they can find all that information, neighborly give and giving. Because what I know that now and being here 3 Ramadans, there are many people who are now listening who might be thinking, okay, I have this zakat, and after Ramadan people have to give some zakat and be. If they want to come to your office, where is your office and what is the address? Because one of the things that I know for sure, especially the Leicester people are really mindful, and when they're touched by something like we've been explaining, how difficult it is for this community, that unseen community who are our neighbors who are in here and suffering. So we'll just remind them again your website.
I think the website is www.sokova.org.uk, and we are based at Quba Mosque in Samatios, 19 Bruno 60. That's where we are, and
I'm thinking you're talking about people would like to give to help someone. You know, we have English students. We have students for our English class, people who have been placed outside of Leicester, and they are travelling in on a Friday because it's the only place where they're learning alongside people like them. And they travel in specifically on a Friday, and sometimes they're paying £6 or £10 a week to travel in, sometimes £6 a journey. So, like, if somebody would like to sponsor a student travel, we at the moment we say we cannot offer anything like that. You have to wait till you are a student at Leicester College to do that. But in those early weeks and months, £6 would be half of someone's travel, perhaps, who is outside Leicester, to be able to come to an English Leicester where they mix with other refugees who've had the same experience. And that would be just a small gift, but it would be incredibly meaningful to those people who received it. We could make a special fund for that, couldn't we? Just thinking about that.
Yes, I
think you see, we are brainstorming. We are brainstorming.
Come to life here.
Yes,
we
indeed.
will name it we'll name it after Radio Ramadan. Radio Ramadan sponsor a students' travel project.
And I thank and I take this opportunity to thank Leicester Zakat group who are really, they chose to do it in-house. They prioritize people in need in our shores rather than. And I don't blame the others who are doing elsewhere as well, because with the world it now is in disarray, and everywhere you look, there are people who are in need, and I totally support those who are doing other jobs elsewhere as well. One of the things that came to my mind is that, and I want our listeners to visualize, someone will get, now it's general, it's not only refugee, anyone with a language barrier, they get a letter, and they know that that letter is important because it's from NHS or from any office they were waiting, and they know it weighs very good information. And with that in mind, they travel all the way to come to your office. And the minute you decipher what is on that letter, just talk to me through about the expression of that person. Because you see, if you have an information and you cannot access it, whether it's with your health, whether it is something that you're waiting so long, like your refugee status or whatever it is, but people don't know. So I want our listeners to picture, put your shoes, put yourself in that shoes. And people who are here are the people who put people in ease to explain what those letters contain.
But if you just, one example is,
please.
If you are a mother, for instance, from Somalia, over 50, and you live your own, you have some health conditions, nobody recognizes, you don't have work, and you are on universal credit, nobody seems understanding your situation, nobody knows whether you have a health condition, and then subsequently your benefit is being, you were told, your benefit is stopped due to habitual residency or immigration. What would you do? You don't speak English language, you have a health issues, actually, which is very serious when you come to closer that person. When you come to noun, you can see it and observe it, but what would you do then? The benefit or they don't really, they just need the papers or respond this person, but they don't know what makes this person not to be able to provide or commitment, or keep the commitment that they expected this individual to contract they made with when you're on benefit, because the health is not good, there's no language, so they cannot provide message or write any message on their journal, and then the benefit is cut, and subsequently that lead the housing is under eviction because this individual is not able to pay the rent. So what will you do? How would you come out? But fortunately Sakoba is there, so those people who are fortunate, they come to and see one of our staff volunteers, and once they come, then we listen and try to advocate and bridge that gap. But sometimes local authority, government agencies are very stubborn, very bureaucratic, and it takes a long time to even resolve the cases. So
thank you very much. You guys are my hero. I could talk to you days, but unfortunately,
so Judy can maybe
the program is coming to close. Just to
No, really?
Yes. Last bit before I close it.
Yes. What were you going? You had a question, or
No, just
I
would be.
think I wanted to just mention about two things, really. Firstly, what you said, Abdi, about the situation of women in our society who are not speaking
I
English.
need to close it. Thank you very much. Daryeel show. Thank you very much. Until we meet next time.